Hey, Coach Abel here, along with Coach Weiss, the Abel Body Experts, and we're throwing some big words at you, fairly complicated in this Coach 'em Up. It's just the words that are complicated, the explanations are not. Coach, we always hear in the industry lots of banter about high-protein diets, but no one ever talks about the consequences of high-protein diets. So I just want to point out one of many, not that high-protein diets are bad, but they all have consequences or risk-benefit ratios, whatever you want to call it. So the higher the protein in the diet, the more you're displacing what's called protein-sparing nutrients. And one of the words I've written down here is what's called gluconeogenesis. Basically, it means gluco is sugar, neo meaning new, and genesis is the regeneration. So what happens is, as the higher you get your protein in your diet and displace carbohydrates and fats, well, the branched chain amino acids, leucine, isoleucine, and valine, leak from the muscles, and they have to go to the liver, and then they're used to recreate glycogen. Now that's very metabolically expensive, and what happens is protein gets stripped of its nitrogen component, and nitrogen is what makes protein special. Without the nitrogen component, there's really nothing special about the protein molecule. So what happens in this instance is the nitrogen has to be excreted. So what happens is the nitrogen goes out in the urine. A lot of people will notice that their urine is a darker color, and it might even have a smell to it. And if that's you, basically you're risking dehydration. And the funny thing here is the dehydration risk of the high protein diet actually can adversely affect your performance level. So you go on a high protein diet and you think you got all your bases covered, but you're actually getting less out of your training because you've induced a level of dehydration that you're not compensating for. So you must see this as well.
Yeah, and that level of dehydration is not very big either. It's just a matter of a few percentage points of being dehydrated, and your performance drops off dramatically. So if you're hoping to get the most out of your intensity in the gym, and then you're on a low carbs, high protein diet, you're actually taking away from your training effect because you can't bring the intensity to it.
Right. So if you're just focused on high protein, you might be missing the point, and you might actually be damaging the recovery period, or actually your performance levels in the gym, which actually induce the micro trauma we want in order to induce gains. So again, high protein, possibly not all it's cracked up to be. Depends on the whole diet as a whole, not just in a 24-hour window, but in a day window, a week window, a month window, etc. So very important to stay well hydrated, and you can't compensate for that in a high protein diet just by drinking more, because the dehydration effect.
Yeah, you actually drink more, and you can actually become even more dehydrated because your body just pushes it out.
So if you have a odor to your urine and it's a dark yellow color, then the protein supplements you're taking have just added value to the cost of your urine. This has been a Coach 'em Up.